All the way back in 2007, Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, was cast as Black Adam for a potential Shazam or even Black Adam movie, which was in development for a while until it finally was announced a couple years ago and is coming out later this year. And after all that, after being in development for like 15 years, I have a hard time believing it will be a good movie, and I have many reasons for this, but I think the most important one, first and foremost, is probably the whole reason it exists as a movie today at all, the reason it was greenlit in the last couple of years, and that's the main actor, Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, and I'll get into that right now. Now listen, I enjoy a good Dwayne Johnson movie as much as anybody else. I think he's extremely charming, surprisingly funny, and looks absolutely badass doing practically anything. And he's obviously a huge audience draw. I mean, all of his movies make a lot of money. His latest, like the Netflix movie Red Notice, was one of the biggest Netflix movies of all time. I think the single biggest. So yeah, he is a big draw for audiences. He's arguably the biggest movie star of the current day. The problem here is that he's not a good actor, really. I mean, The Rock basically plays the same character in every movie he's in. They might have different names, different motivations and backstories, and different personalities even, but even the ones with different personalities still feel like the same person. The Rock just doesn't have the ability to immerse you in his role to the point where you forget subconsciously that you're watching The Rock. I mean, honestly, can you name any of his characters from any of his movies? The only one that I could think of is Hobbs from the Fast and Furious movies, but that's literally only because he's in one of the movie titles. He's in the Hobbs and Shaw movie title. That's the only reason I can remember his name. And this is something that's just worried me ever since the movie was officially greenlit. I don't think The Rock can immerse you into his role to the point where you subconsciously forget that you're watching The Rock, so it'll just feel like The Rock on screen and not Black Adam. And it doesn't help that in the trailers he doesn't sound like Black Adam usually does. He doesn't have the accent. He's just talking like The Rock, which is a bit weird in my opinion, and I'll get to that in a second when I do talk about the trailer. But for now, I don't think The Rock could pull that off. And I'd be surprised if he could pull off any of the emotional weight or nuance of the character. I expect all he really cares about, the only reason he was ever attracted to this role, is because Black Adam is a very powerful character. He's always used the line, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change, which is weird because, I mean, there's already a movie about Shazam, a character with the exact same power set and power level, plus there are other characters who are more powerful than he is, like The Flash, Superman, Darkseid, characters who exist in this universe, and Black Adam is not really at their power level, so that line is a bit weird to me. I just think that it's a bit delusional to think that Black Adam will change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe, but I also think that's the only reason that The Rock ever really was attracted to this role, and I have huge worries about whether he could pull it off. And like I said, the trailer really didn't convince me. I mean, he sounds like The Rock when he's talking. He sounds like The Rock, but a more monotone and less charming version of The Rock, and obviously you can't judge a performance based on the trailer. But like I said, they didn't even give him his accent. He's supposed to be Egyptian, who now rules a Middle Eastern country. Meanwhile, in the trailer, somehow, some way, he has an American accent, which it makes no sense. The only connection he has to America is when he's fighting like Shazam or Superman in America, or recently on the Justice League in America, but for the most part, he's Egyptian and rules a Middle Eastern country. He should have a Middle Eastern or Egyptian accent, not an American one, and it signals that either they want The Rock to sound as much like The Rock as possible so that they can draw in a bigger audience, or maybe they tried the accent and The Rock just couldn't pull it off. Regardless, it's not a good look and it doesn't send a good message about the quality that this movie might have. Aside from the Rock problem, there is also the fact that this is a villain movie, and I personally really do not like this new trend of villain movies, like the Venom movies, Joker, Morbius, the upcoming Kraven the Hunter movie, and Black Adam. I don't like this new trend. Like, why are these characters who are usually portrayed as like the enemies of the main hero, and they're the main protagonist while the main hero just doesn't appear? Batman doesn't appear in Joker, Spider-Man doesn't appear in the Venom movies or Morbius, and he's not going to appear in Kraven either, and Shazam isn't appearing in this movie as far as we could tell. Meanwhile, there's another Shazam movie coming out mere months later where Black Adam isn't appearing. Why do we have these epic rivalries that are just being sidelined for the villain being the main protagonist? I will never understand. Why is Black Adam not the main villain of the second Shazam movie instead of having his own movie? Like, he could have had his own movie after being the main villain in the second Shazam movie, but why before? I mean, not liking the idea of villain movies is one thing, that's fairly subjective, but it's pretty objective that most of the villain movies haven't been very good. I mean, the Venom movies are fun and all, but they're not exactly great movies, and Morbius is an absolute joke. I mean, it flopped, came back to theaters because it became a meme, and then flopped again, and really the only villain movie so far that has been good is Joker, but Joker is such a huge departure from the comic book character of Joker. Plus, just Joker is just a pop culture icon. He's been in movies, been like 10 different movies, played by 10 different actors. Black Adam, this is his live action debut. It just doesn't make any sense to me to debut him in a villain movie, which already doesn't have a good track record, and DC doesn't have a good track record either. Where this is his live action debut, when there's another Shazam movie coming out mere months later, the whole situation just reeks to me. It makes no sense, and I do not like it. But I guess that is entirely subjective. Now, I gotta say, I've had these issues about this movie, these worries about this movie for a while, and the new trailer really didn't help things at all. I was just so underwhelmed by what this trailer is showing us. Maybe it's just a case of bad editing. Maybe they didn't they left things out because they didn't want to spoil anything. But what they showed us is so boring to look at. Like, visually it's boring to look at. The music isn't anything special to get excited about. There isn't anything happening in this trailer that makes you think, wow, that is interesting. Other than the fact that the JSA is appearing, but we already knew that. It's only 4 members, but the JSA appearing is easily the thing I'm most excited about for this movie. I love the JSA. I love Dr. Fate as a character. Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone aren't really my favorite JSA members, but just the fact that they're all appearing, and for the most part, they all look pretty cool. I am excited about. But I gotta say, the shot they chose to use, like, to show Dr. Fate in this trailer was really questionable. Not only does it look like he's hanging on a wire and struggling to do so, he also, like, his powers in the shot looks a lot like the mirror dimension from Doctor Strange, and there's absolutely no reason for Dr. Fate, a character who predates Doctor Strange by like 25 years, to copy his MCU powers, because it should be the other way around. But if I'm being honest, the JSA are maybe the only thing I'm excited for in this movie, the only thing that I'm pretty certain will be pretty awesome to watch. And honestly, it should have been a JSA movie. Black Adam's a villain, he should be the villain of a Shazam movie and not be in this movie at all. Meanwhile, this should have been a Justice Society of America movie with a lot more JSA members, focusing on them, maybe in the past, maybe on a separate universe from the DCEU. I would have been a lot more excited for that. I'm hoping that this movie proves me wrong, and maybe The Rock proves me wrong. Maybe he can be a good actor. Maybe he really attempted to in this movie, and he succeeded. I don't know. The trailer, however, didn't convince me. I always had these worries from beforehand, and I would be very surprised if this movie turns out to be anything other than, at the very best, mediocre. But anyway, that's it for this video. A bit of a short one, but I don't really have anything more to say other than what I already did. So if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Check out some of my other videos. Link will be in... just go to my channel. Just go to my channel and look at all the other videos. They're pretty fantastic.